Did you know that nearly all deaths after the age of 75 come down to just a handful of causes? Now, most people accept aging as an inevitable decline, a quiet fading out. But the truth? Much of what we call natural aging is really just the consequence of long-ignored health choices. Silent culprits that begin their work decades before we feel their weight. But here's the good news. Once you're aware of what these dangers are, you can begin to tip the odds in your favor. Yes, even now. Small daily habits, chosen with intention, can shift the course of your later years from frailty and fear to strength, clarity, and grace. In this video, we're diving into the 5 major reasons most people pass away after 75, and more importantly, how to avoid becoming a statistic. These aren't just data points. Behind every one of them is a story, a family, a decision, a path not taken. So stay with me until the end. You may walk away with a few simple, powerful changes that could extend not just your years, but the quality of your life. Let's begin. 1. Heart disease, the silent thief. Heart disease remains the #1 cause of death in those over 75, and perhaps the most misunderstood. You see, your heart is not just a pump. It's a living, responsive muscle, one that thrives on nourishment, movement, and peace. And yet, too many of us don't listen to its quiet warnings. We brush off fatigue as just age, ignore shortness of breath, or chalk up dizziness to a skipped meal. But these are signals. Whispers of a heart that's been overworked, underfed, and neglected. One of the biggest culprits? High blood pressure, a silent force that quietly stresses your arteries, forcing the heart to pump harder, faster, longer. The problem is, you don't feel high blood pressure. Not until something catastrophic happens. That's why many seniors end up in emergency rooms, blindsided. And then there's diet. A lifetime of processed food, salt, and unhealthy fats slowly clogs the pathways your blood needs to travel. It's not just about cutting things out, it's about feeding your heart what it needs, whole, vibrant foods that build resilience. Movement matters too. The heart was never meant to be idle. A daily walk, a gentle stretch, even a few minutes of mindful movement each morning keeps the blood flowing and the heart strong. You don't need to run marathons. Just move. Regularly, intentionally. Most important, let go of the myth that heart disease is your destiny. It's not. Genetics play a role, yes. But your daily choices, how you eat, how you move, how you rest, these shape your heart's future far more than you might think. Begin today. Your future self will thank you. 2. Falls, a sudden turning point. The second major cause of death in those over 75 might surprise you. It's not a disease, it's falling. One moment, you're walking across the kitchen. The next, a misstep, a wobble, a slick tile, and suddenly life looks very different. A fall might lead to a broken hip, head trauma, or injuries that never fully heal. For many, it marks the beginning of a slow, irreversible decline. What makes this so heartbreaking is that most falls are preventable. But because our balance and reflexes fade slowly over time, we don't notice until it's too late. Worse yet, once someone falls, fear often takes over. They stop moving as much, avoid stairs, limit outings. And here's the irony. The less we move, the weaker we become, making future falls even more likely. It becomes a vicious cycle. One rooted not in weakness, but in fear. But there's hope. Simple strength training, especially for the legs and core, can dramatically reduce the risk of falling. Balance exercises, like standing on one foot, Tai Chi, or yoga, can restore stability. Even small home changes, like brighter lighting, grippy rugs, and sturdy handrails, can make all the difference. And please, check your medications. Some cause dizziness or low blood pressure. It's worth a conversation with your doctor. Remember, every step you take to stay upright keeps you independent, free, and living life on your own terms. 3. Respiratory disease, when breathing becomes a burden. We breathe without thinking, until we can't. After age 75, lung-related illnesses, like COPD, chronic bronchitis, and pneumonia, become a leading cause of death. Not because they're inevitable, but because we miss the early signs. A little wheeze, a nagging cough, a bit of shortness of breath. These seem harmless, until they aren't. By the time most people seek help, their lungs have already lost a significant amount of their power. One of the most dangerous illnesses in this group? Pneumonia. For younger people, it's an inconvenience. For seniors, it can be fatal, especially with a weakened immune system. So what can you do? First, take your environment seriously. Clean air matters. Use purifiers if needed, avoid smoking or secondhand smoke, and keep your home well ventilated. Mold, dust, and chemical cleaners can all aggravate the lungs. Second, move your body. Physical activity helps the lungs expand, clear out mucus, and stay strong. Even simple walks or stretching can help you breathe more easily. Third, don't skip your vaccines. The flu shot, the pneumonia vaccine, and others exist for a reason. They're not just about avoiding illness. They're about protecting your life. Your breath is your life force. Nurture it. 4. Stroke. When time is everything. A stroke is a thief. It strikes suddenly, robbing mobility, speech, memory. Sometimes it robs life itself. Strokes are among the most common and devastating causes of death after 75. But here's the incredible part. Up to 80% of strokes are preventable. Let that sink in. A stroke happens when the blood supply to the brain is interrupted, either by a blockage or a rupture. Brain cells begin dying within minutes. And unlike other organs, the brain rarely recovers fully. The biggest risk factor? Again, high blood pressure. The silent killer. But there are other things too. Smoking, unmanaged diabetes, poor diet, and chronic stress. Yes, stress, especially the kind we carry for years, can erode the very vessel of our awareness. You want to prevent stroke? Start by treating your mind and body like sacred ground. Eat for nourishment, not comfort. Move daily, even gently. Manage your blood pressure with care. And learn to quiet the mind. Meditation, prayer, time in nature, all help bring the body back to balance. Every choice you make is either healing or harming. Choose wisely. 5. Cognitive decline, the slow disappearance. And now, the final one, perhaps the most quietly devastating. Cognitive decline. Dementia, Alzheimer's, and other forms of mental deterioration don't just affect memory. They alter personality, reduce independence, and place immense emotional strain on families. But again, decline is not destiny. The brain is like a garden. With the right care, fresh challenges, rich nutrients, mental rest, it thrives. But left untended, weeds grow. Connections weaken. Fog creeps in. Want to protect your mind? Stay curious. Learn new things, even small ones. Read, write, solve puzzles. Engage in meaningful conversation. Feed your brain. Omega-3s, leafy greens, berries. All of them support brain health. Keep moving. Physical exercise boosts blood flow to the brain, promoting new connections and fighting off degeneration. And perhaps most importantly, nurture your inner life. The mind doesn't exist in isolation. A life filled with purpose, connection, gratitude, and joy helps protect the brain. This is where wisdom and spirituality matter most. So there you have it, the 5 most common causes of death after age 75. But remember, these are not your fate. They're warnings, yes, but also invitations. Invitations to live with greater intention, to move with awareness, to nourish the body, to care for the mind, and to cultivate peace, both within and around you. Aging is not about decline. It's about deepening, slowing down to savor, learning to listen to what the body whispers before it has to shout. If you found value in this, please like and share it with someone you love. And let me know in the comments, what's one change you're inspired to make? Subscribe for more wisdom, and remember, you are more powerful than you think. Stay well, stay strong, and stay curious.